Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Peninsulas. It's my turn again today to post a video, and I'm just going to be discussing basically what the farm is looking like at this time of year and what we have going on to get ready again for the winter. So as you can see by the picture there, we have had a cold snap, and so the banana tree is looking somewhat dead, although it's not all the way dead. And now we're back up into the 80s, so a lot of whiplash around here with the weather. But I've been doing some things. I recorded this first part of the video before the cold weather hit. And I wanted to share this with you guys because this is my first attempt at growing squash in the fall. And what happened was I got squash worms, and I learned something new. So you don't get squash worms in the spring or summer, they come in the fall, and it's because of a moth that flies around at night laying eggs on your plants, and then those little eggs hatch out, and the first sign is your leaves will look eaten, like something's been chewing on your leaves. And then once the plant puts fruit on, the worms will burrow into your squash, and it creates fracking on the outside, so you'll see kind of pulpy looking stuff on the outside of your squash, and then there will be a hole. Now, if your squash isn't too infested, you can submerge your pieces of squash in water and the worms will come out. It's really creepy to watch, but sometimes you can salvage the fruit itself by doing that and then cut around where the worms have been. My squash were very infested, so I only got maybe one or two out of this garden, but that was something I learned doing this fall garden with the squash. Next time I'll probably try covering them at night so that the moths can't lay their eggs on them. So that was kind of a bummer, but one of those things you learn as you go. So now this is post our cold snap. So for here, when we say we have a hard freeze in North Florida, it's usually below freezing for more than a couple hours at a time. So we had 3 nights in a row where the temperatures were in the mid-20s, which is very cold, especially for this early in the season. But some of my plants did okay. You can see my tomatoes here are looking very sad. I'm hoping they'll live along for the fruit to ripen, the tomatoes to get ripe, but I'm not sure that'll work. But here I had planted broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower, and then I also have a row of collard greens. And they did really, really well. So these are cold-loving plants. They didn't get damaged by the freeze, and they're still going strong. So that's kind of a bright spot in the garden when everything else has really turned brown, all the grass and everything. Even Windy Girl here has been struggling to find good things to eat because her little project here, clearing out this pen, she pretty much has it all covered, and then everything else died. So that's my ginger right there. Now the ginger will come back every year. It's really the roots under the ground that are the important parts, and that's what you eat, right? Obviously, so they should be fine tucked down in there for the winter, and then next spring the plants should come back. So I'm just gonna leave them for now. I could dig them up and eat them, but I think I'll just leave them and let them be hopefully more abundant next year. These days the calf is huge and he's drinking all our milk. So on days that I'm home and I can milk, I separate him and his mom just for the day, and then in the evening I can get some milk from her, and that works out pretty well. This is Linus. He is one of the sweetest boys on the planet. He did well in the cold. He likes to curl up in the haystack, so he did fine. But if you guys are feeling the effects of the cold weather and and all that's alive in your raised beds are the chickens, then never fear, you're not alone. And that's Murgatroyd. She's a naked neck chicken. She's supposed to look like that. This is one patch of green grass that we still have left in the yard, and it's because it was underneath my truck. So I brought Hank out. I thought he could use a nice snack, but he ate it up pretty fast. It didn't last very long. So winter comes with its own challenges, and when everything kind of dies back, you just kind of have to adjust. I do recommend these freezing-proof bags for if you have young fruit trees. There's several places online that buy them. If you just look for, or that sell them, where you can buy them, basically. If you just look for bags for young trees, they worked really well. You can see the leaves are still green there on my plum. And then as the cold days come, we start new projects. My dad actually built this cross for our church. So that was a really fun project that will be going in our church after the new year. But the main thing that we've been doing lately are we harvested these pumpkins before the freeze. And now all the vines are still there, but they've died back. So it's time for some cleanup in the front. Now, this wildly successful pumpkin vine was a volunteer from scraps I had thrown out on my banana trees. And it completely took over the whole front yard here. It was probably my most successful plant, so there's a tip for you guys. The ones that you don't try to have do really, really well. But now everything has kind of been bitten back, so here I am. The pumpkins were all over this as well. There's vines throughout, but this dead looking plant here is actually my white salvia that I'm trimming back. Salvia, I have red, blue, and white salvia, and it's really fun to grow here in North Florida because it really does well. You can kind of plant it and forget about it, and it will spread and get big and bushy. It blooms all summer and fall. The pollinators love it, and it's very hardy, so it's hard to kill, which is good for me. And it comes in a variety of colors, but it's also part of the sage family, and so the leaves are very good for tea. It's very good for your health, it helps build your immune system, and it's tasty as well. So what I like to do is I'll take just a small fistful of these leaves, and I'll put them in roughly 2 to 3 cups of water. I'll bring the water to a boil first, and then I'll put the leaves in, and I'll let them steep for about 10 minutes. And it makes a nice sagey tea that is it's just really yummy and nice for the cold weather as well. And then while I'm on the subject of salvia, right there on the left is a big clump of lemongrass. I've got several of these clumps of lemongrass growing around the front. And lemongrass is also really good for tea and for your health. So what I will do is take some of the green shoots. I'll take maybe 3 green shoots, and I'll chop them up into maybe an inch-sized pieces. They don't have to be small. And then I'll put them in about 3 cups of water as well. But what I do with the lemongrass is slightly different. I will boil it for about 10 minutes, and it helps really bring out the flavor and the juices from those stems or stalks of grass. And then after I boil it for about 10 minutes, then I'll let it steep for usually 5 or 6 minutes. And it usually has a really nice flavor. It's very lemony and light, and it's one that I like to do in the summer as well, because once it has steeped, you can just add ice to it, and you'll have a nice refreshing iced tea that's also healthy for you. So I do recommend, if you live in the South, get some lemongrass and some salvia. The lemongrass, same as the salvia, it is very hard to kill. You can start with just a little clump and it will spread into a bigger and bigger clump, but it won't run wild like sometimes bamboo will. If you get the runner, it's not like that. So it's clumping. And then once you get a fairly decent clump like these guys, you can actually cut off pieces of the clump and plant them around wherever you want them, and they'll take off. So again, very hard to kill, very easy plant to have, and beneficial as well. So here I'm trying to rip out all the dead vines and clear away the dead brush. I have a walking iris there at the end that's still green, so I'm just mulching around that and trying to define my garden beds again here in the front now that I can clear out some of the growth. So typically before the pumpkins took over, there's a walkway between these clumps of lemongrass and my house. So I'm just trying to get that all cleaned up and looking better so that these plants that are still left can kind of breathe and be as healthy as possible. So I got all this hay again from my cow pen. It was time to switch out kind of her old rained on hay for a new bale. So it's nice. I have plenty of mulch to put around these guys. But yeah, so this is actually one of my favorite areas of the yard. I have all my salvia planted up here, my lemongrass. I have lavender planted up here. I also have angel trumpets, which are more for looks than anything, but also they have really big flowers that come on, and the pollinators do like them as well. They're not the favorite of the pollinators, I will say, because they hang down instead of pointing upwards, but I have seen butterflies and some hummingbirds get up into the angel trumpet. So that's mostly what I have planted along here. And then I have the canna lilies, which are the big tall plants. They're all brown now, but they're to the right of the banana trees as you're going towards the steps. And I don't know if you remember from my last video, but they put on bright red flowers, and the pollinators absolutely love them. And I saw, bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, just every kind of creature you could think coming in and out of those flowers. So another plant that I really recommend for this area, because they just took off. I planted them from one little, maybe 12-inch plant, and now I have a whole forest that's taller than my head of those. Just within 2 years, that's how big they got. So another plant that you can just kind of leave there and forget about, and they do really, really well. So this that I'm uncovering there, that's an echinacea. I have 2 echinaceas planted along in there. There's another one. Now, they typically would be bigger and bushier, but they were overtaken by the pumpkin vine and kind of shaded out this summer, which was unfortunate. This one right here did put on one sad little flower. But for echinacea, and also comfrey, I have comfrey planted by my bananas, which also got shaded out. You can see here the echinacea has one. That's what's left of the little flower. But for both those plants, comfrey and echinacea, they love a lot of sun, and they really won't bloom unless they see the sun. So I'm hoping that these guys will kind of make a comeback in the spring. And I'm not gonna have a pumpkin plant here again. If I have one volunteer, I'll try to transplant it or something, to try to keep these plants from being overtaken. But they they've survived despite that, and they're still green even after the freeze, so I think they'll do okay through the winter. But it's definitely a challenge when you have one plant that's just excelling and you don't want to harm it, but it's really not in the ideal spot. So I've learned that if I see volunteers coming up, I'm gonna transplant them. Now this is my Confederate rose. You can see it's not all the way dead. It's got some green growth down here at the bottom, but I'm not gonna trim it yet because it's better to wait for a lot of these plants to trim them back until the winter is almost over and there's no really cold days still coming. Because even though the foliage is kind of dead looking, it can still help protect the plant inside without exposing that stem to the cold. So same with my canna lilies there. I'm going to leave them even though they look brown and dead, because it helps protect the internal plant. And it's really the same for banana trees. So I'm no banana expert. I actually planted these only a year and a half ago, and I only planted 2 pups, and they were only maybe a couple feet tall. And you can see here there's a whole forest of bananas now. I don't know how many shoots they put up, but it's a very robust banana grove here, for lack of a better term. And I actually, for the first time this summer, I got 2 stalks of bananas. So 2 of these trees put on bananas. So that was very exciting. I've never grown bananas before. But things that I have learned about banana trees, so in one of my earlier videos I talked about how when you're mulching fruit trees you do not want to put the mulch right up against the base of the tree because the roots there like to breathe. But that is not the case with bananas. Bananas like very heavy mulch and thickly applied all around the base. I've also learned that they're very hungry and thirsty plants, so they like to be watered a lot, and they like to be fed a ton of composting materials. So I have a worm bed, but it has limited space for putting compost materials. It's in an old freezer, and by the time you put a layer of compost and then a layer of straw and a layer of dirt, the worm bed is filled up and it does fine for a while. So the banana trees have become my composting pile. I will just throw all of my scraps around the base of these banana trees, and then about once a month or so I'll add a layer of mulch on top. And I'll also tell you guys my secret, which I don't know if it's really a secret, but it's worked so well for me. Because I have the milk cow, there are times during the year when I have so much milk I can't use it all before it kind of goes bad. And when that happens, I'll throw all the excess on my banana trees. And I don't know if that's the reason they've been doing so well or if it's just, a helpful factor, but these banana trees have taken off and they're just so happy and healthy right here. So those are kind of the things I do to take care of my bananas. The other thing, I did some research before I planted these guys, and it seems as though in this part of Florida, because it does get cold, it's best to plant these guys along a south-facing wall. And even at first I thought, I really can't grow bananas up here because it does get too cold. It's not really tropical in this part of Florida. It's more like South Georgia. It's getting away from those higher temperatures. So I really didn't think that I would be successful with bananas, to be honest. But I planted them on this wall. It's a south-facing wall of my house. I've kept them heavily mulched. I've thrown all my scrap food on top of them and my extra milk, and I've kept them well watered. and they have just excelled in this location. So I'm very pleased and excited about that. And so one of the things, so I already mentioned you don't want to cut off the leaves and everything because they help protect the plant internally. Another thing that I learned about bananas, they'll put up suckers, which are just shoots, baby shoots that come up from around the base of the original plant. Now, if they're a pointed sucker, they're called sword suckers, I think. And if any of you guys are banana experts, feel free to correct me, but I'm pretty sure that sword suckers are best for propagation because they are somehow just more robust and healthy, and they do better for future production of bananas. And then you also have round leaf suckers that can come up, and they don't necessarily do as well for propagation. So that was something interesting that I learned. And also, I don't know if you guys knew this, but I certainly did not. Banana trees are not trees. They're actually giant herbs, which I thought was super cool. But yeah, so they're not considered trees because they don't have a woody stem or trunk, and the properties of the banana tree are actually herb-like in nature. So they are a giant herb, and you can use the leaves for cooking. You can wrap food in banana leaves for cooking. People don't typically eat the leaves because they're pretty tough, but they can lend good flavor and moisture to different kinds of foods that you might want to wrap in them and bake. And then also you can eat the banana flour that comes on the end of the stalk. I did that for the first time this year, and it was actually pretty tasty, and it's packed with nutrients. So that's all I really know about bananas, but here is my cleaned up walkway, and I've got my beds mulched, and here's a little bit of my red salvia left. It hung on through the freeze, and it's got a little bit of flowers still on it. Now, this is my papaya tree. One is dead, but the one in the box is not dead. My dad actually built this box to try to save this papaya because it has fruit on it, and it worked. We put a space heater in there, and look at all those papayas. I'm very excited. So if you guys are wondering, can you keep a papaya alive through sub-freezing temperatures? The answer is yes. I'll let you guys know how those turn out. But this was my peanut patch. We got all those harvested. My borage took a little bit of a hit. I'm not sure it's going to make a big comeback, but it's still hanging on. And then this is going to be a project coming up here pretty soon. This is my potato patch. I know you can't really tell, but that used to be a potato plant. So we're going to be digging those up. Hopefully it's a good yield under the ground there. But that's pretty much all that we have going on here the last week on Evensong Farm. Let me know what you guys think, and feel free to ask questions or comments. Let me know what you know about banana trees, because I'm still learning. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one.